Hello. It is Saturday, October 5th, 2019, and this is the Upper Body Part 2 public service announcement. Please do not waste your time watching this unless you have a very specific reason to watch this. All right, the synopsis is a warm-up, then a workout. Going to change the warm-up slightly today. The warm-up is going to consist of a few exercises my dad likes. Then instead of doing L-shaped chin-ups, I'm going to do 5 or 6 just normal chin-ups. Then it's going to be upside down sit-ups or inverted sit-ups, like 7 of those. Then 13 push-ups, 7 air squats, and 6 bends. That's the warm-up. During the actual workout, before each set, or in between each set, except for the last set of the 5 exercises, there's going to be a breathing exercise. So you start out, or I start out with a breathing exercise before the first exercise. The first exercise is incline bench. Going to do a set of 6, breath exercise, lower the weight, set of 8, breath exercise, lower the weight, set of 10. Next exercise after breath exercise is going to be chest machine, which is simulation of flat bench pretty much. It's going to be a set of 8, breath exercise, lower the weight, set of 10. Matter of fact, exercises 2, 3, 4 on this 5 exercise set is going to be a set of 8, set of 10. Next exercise, hammer curls, same deal, breath exercises in between. Next exercise, that's the 4th exercise, hammer curl. The 3rd exercise is going to be lat push downs. So from a standing position, it's a little bit tricep and a little bit back. Lat push downs. It depends on how much you want to bend your elbows. And actively bending your elbows in different parts of the exercise. Kind of fun. It's an interesting way that seems to work and feels interesting on my body at least. Let's see, after that, hammer curls, already mentioned. Last exercise is a bit different. Not a breath exercise in between every set, but more like just a breath or 2, maybe 3, and then go for it. That's going to be bent over reverse flies. 5 sets. First set is 15 repetitions. Second through 5th set is going to be 4 sets of 5 repetitions. All right, that is the synopsis for the workout and all the important stuff for me to say. Took my time with it, didn't I? Well, hopefully you're watching this on double speed. Not going to do that first. Going to just do a few exercises that my dad likes. And I like to. 1. And the shoulder shrugs back. Then the mustache twirls. No, it's not an exercise. Just felt like straightening things out there a little bit. You don't have to go up that high. My dad only goes up about that high. That's the normal way of doing it. For some reason, I like just going to that extent. Next one's going to be just a lat raises. But, like I said, I like that kind of stretch. A little active stretching right there. Kind of slow motion high knees, walking don't have to do the high knee portion of this. Feels nice. Wasn't too solid on the count. I was just feeling it. Focusing on breathing, losing the thought of the count. All right. Warming up, taking it nice and slow, relaxing. Read a book recently. It's called TB12, and it's written by Tom Brady and a ghostwriter, and it's basically about muscle pliability, not flexibility like stretching, but pliability. So I guess it's kind of like flexing your muscle. Let's say forearm, flex your forearm, but you put tension under it. I guess there's a whole methodology to it, basically the book gets into, but it's almost like massaging the muscle towards the heart and doing it in kind of intervals that reflects what kind of activity you're going to be doing. For example, football, you want to be quick on your feet, you want to be quick with your body, you flex the muscle for about 2 seconds, and with tension on it, flex and then relax and flex and relax and flex and relax, and you do that through all your body. Couple different ways of doing it is while you're flexing and relaxing, you're having another person do it. You can do it yourself, or you can also use things like vibrating balls and vibrating rollers. And that vibrating roller is probably a good thing for your back. And I guess the whole vibration aspect of it is to kind of activate your body in some interesting way to say, hey, things are going on here, pay attention. The analogy in the book is also big on hydration. I guess the number in there is your body weight in half, in ounces. So your body weight in pounds, cut that in half, and then that number in ounces. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you're drinking 100 ounces of water per day, kind of spaced out. And the weird thing is, it talks about the dietary stuff, which is interesting. But one of the interesting things I caught on the dietary stuff was not drinking too much water during a meal. I've always kind of believed something different, but that's something interesting we're trying. I've had meals where I haven't really had a lot of liquid around and just had the solid food to choke down. And sometimes if the solid food's pretty dry, it is kind of choking it down. Anyway, so that's kind of a fun thing. I don't have a vibrating roller. Might kind of price one out to check, or one of those vibrating balls, and I know that you take something, I think I got a little ball right here, the kind of half blown up, kind of flat soccer ball, and take it, put it, I guess, in the middle of your back, and just roll. That'd be kind of interesting with a vibrating ball. Anyway, wonder what that would be like. Put this in a different spot. It's not in the way. All right, all this because I'm putting off just doing a few pull-ups. What was it, 5 or 6? Nice stretch. Not going to do the glide downs. just figured I'd throw a few extra pull-ups and not do the glide downs, but also not do the L shape, just because I wanted to kind of get that deeper stretch. And if I'm thinking about the L shape, I might unconsciously kind of bring my shoulders up a little bit. So I'm going to bounce back and forth between those two. Also try to do some pull-ups every day. So, or some chin-ups every day. I've heard that the difference between a chin-up and a pull-up is incontinence. No, a chin-up and a pull-up, chin-ups like this, pull-ups like that. This seems far more useful in daily endeavors. So, and that's big in Tom Brady's book, that TB12, training but not overtraining for the activities you want to get good at. Very activity specific, and I was surprised. Not pushing the weights too much in that book, really going after using band exercises, and some really cool band type exercises in there that might be worth trying. I don't know, I like to kind of venture out and explore new ideas, play around with things. I'm going to stick to this kind of stuff consistently, but I love the idea that's toted in that book is preventing injury, long, healthy life. A big thing in that book, I guess I didn't mention, a big thing in that book is treating your muscles like well tenderized meat as opposed to dried out beef jerky. And that's hydration's a big part of that, and that whole like, flexing your muscle every 2 seconds while, yeah, I know, I'm sure I'm not doing it right, but it kind of does feel good. It feels kind of weird, and especially because I don't really like massages too much. I mean, it depends on the person doing it, I guess. But it's so weird just activating your muscle, like flexing your muscle and having, your fingers pushing it. It feels like it's doing, I mean, this is just 2 seconds of me messing with it. It feels like there's a cleansing feeling there. Like, huh. It almost feels like a benign beating, Get out your rubber hoses and your well-rounded pipes. Just hard enough not to bruise. But maybe there is something to that. For a little while, I took a look around for my jump rope today a little bit, but I think I know where it might be. I think I know what happened to it, so it might be lost to the cause. Anyway, so inverted sit-ups. Let's go for about, what did I say before, 7? Yeah, we'll do about 7 of these guys. Latch those on there nice and properly. Nice little stretches. Oh man, even that with your neck looking around feels different. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here comes number 7. Need a little help on that one. Gonna do that one stretch. That's a good stretch. Speaking of stretches, a little tight there. All right. Oh, we got more. We got push-ups. Got push-ups. Change the camera for this for a little bit. It's only about 13 of them, but I wouldn't mind doing them, right? One, two, three, 4, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, why not one more? There we go. Why not one more? Why not one more? Why not 2 more? There we go. Kind of feeling that. Feels interesting. Get into a rhythm of it. Get feeling good. Recently read a book that was took place in Nigeria, written by a Nigerian author, but it seemed very, except for like the police bribe part, it could have been all done in the US. So it has like that kind of almost universal appeal. Anyway, I guess it's a pretty contemporary book because it was the strangest thing. She used the word MAGA, M-A-G-A, which I guess stands for Make America Great Again, the red hats and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to keep politics out of this video because 3 things I don't discuss in polite company are politics, religion, and butt stuff. Anyway, I don't know, that seems like a fun little joke thing to say. Anyhow, she used MAGA as a noun, synonymous with the word fool. And I thought that was really interesting. It's like, wow, people in Nigeria know a little bit about American politics, and they have such an opinion about it, where this word is treated as commonplace without any real explanation. So I thought that was interesting. I was glad that, at first I didn't understand it. I was like, wait. And then I kind of thought, what could that be? And so that's interesting. I don't really have an opinion on that one way or another. I try not to complain. I try not to criticize. Try not to get caught up in the BS. Just focus on the good stuff. And this is good stuff. Specifically what's good right now is about 7 air squats. 1, 2, 3, feeling good. 4, 5, I think I got 2 more in me. 6, doing them nice and slow. Feeling good about the form on this one. That's 7, then we're just gonna bend. Do bends, 6 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A little bonus stretch in there. All right. Now we get to the actual workout portion of the workout. Nice little warm up on that. First exercise, as I've already stated, incline bench. Definitely feeling the breathing. It's good. Maybe that means I need to do a little bit more cardio. I don't know, but it feels kind of good in a happy, relaxed, and winded way. On my winded way. Speaking about wind, first thing to do before the actual lifting of weight is the breathing exercise. All right. I think that, there we go. Whew. So, time to breathe. Hopefully, usually, almost all the time is time to breathe. But this is time to close my eyes, count with my fingers, do some somewhat deep breathing. Very relaxed breathing. Calling into mind all the things that I want my body to be happy and healthy and feel good. I want to live inside this thing and experience a quality of life that it understands pain, but doesn't get too caught up in it. I think that's one of those aspects. There's a whole bunch of other aspects, but I won't get into those right now. That was a little quicker than I expected, but it felt good, so I just rolled with whatever my breath was throwing at me. And just using your fingers can take a little bit of the mental thing and just let my mind go wherever I want and just come back to the breath and focus on how it's feeling. Not really timing the breath, not thinking about depth, just kind of whatever my body wants within certain parameters. Anyhow, let's lift. About 6 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breath exercise, then a set of weight. Set of feet after I lower the weight. Time to dial it back a bit, literally. Ooh, that just dialed it up. Yeah, I was dialing it up. Not necessarily thinking geometrical or spatial right now. Every now and then it seems like a cascade of sweat just pops out of one's body, almost out of nowhere. Not a terrible feeling, as long as you're prepared to sweat. sadness in there. I was going to say that's a thought I should keep to myself, but I'll hear it out anyway. So while looking through some of my things earlier today, I found some papers, and I guess it was one of Wink's visits to the veterinarian to get all fixed when she was a little one. Couldn't even look at the details. Probably should have kept that thought to myself, but there is sadness in life, but there is also appreciation, because had I not had that little happy thing in my life, that little happy girl for 11 years, would have missed out on a lot of good memories, good stuff. The equation is true. The positive outweighs the negative. But when the negative does hit, you do feel it. Shoot, it's been about 6 months, I'm still feeling it. Also, there's some cats I kind of grew up with. All these cats are kind of like 20 years old over at my dad's house. There were two brothers, Tommy and Smokey. Before that, there was Callie. Callie's still around, and Callie seems to be doing pretty good. Although last night she was walking with a limp when I went over there. She's a tiny, skinny little thing. A lot of energy, though. Tommy and Smokey. Smokey was like the ambassador. He died Christmas last year. He lasted maybe 20 years. Tommy, we thought he was going to die before Smokey because he had a real horrible eye infection. Had to go to the vet and remove his eye. It was so bad. But he lived through it. And he was doing pretty good. But now he's retreating away. Not necessarily fully hiding, but kind of staying away. And that generally seems like not a good sign. He might not have too many miles left in him. And there's Sky, and then there's the new one that's only about maybe 5 years old. And that's Dusty, but Dusty doesn't trust my dad or me, only my sister. So when I go over there, if I see Dusty, he'll pay attention to me, but he'll want to leave. That's okay, you know. I don't have to be friends with everything on four legs. But yeah, thinking about Tommy heading out, that's a sad thing too, but I hope he's had a good run of it. I hope he's really enjoyed his life, and I like to believe he has. He used to be very, very scared of everything, but he's calmed down in his older age. He'd make a noise too fast or he'd sneeze, he'd flip out. Now I can sneeze around him. I think I might be editorializing a little bit too much on this video. This is more about keeping myself accountable and working out. Set of 8. 6, 7, 8. Giving my muscles some good resistance, but not taking it over the top. Not making my body work too hard to repair injuries. Not getting too closest to my edge. Going to your edge is nice every now and then, but I think what's going to happen with the script is it'll be a cycle of moving forward on days where I'm writing the script and it feels ambitious, and I'll push forward to my edge, and then I'll feel it a little bit, I'll say hello to it, and then I'll pull back for a little while, and then, so hopefully, the goal is not necessarily lifting as much weight as possible. The goal is feeling healthy and living a long time, so it would be nice to have a nice muscular physique. I don't know if that's necessarily in the cards for me. Wouldn't it be weird if I developed it and didn't even notice it? It's like, oh, and I was like, I guess body dysmorphic disorder or whatever they call it. But that's not the most important thing. Yeah, as far as I know, the only person that marginally gives a damn about what shape my body or how my body's looking, not necessarily health shape, but aesthetically how my body's looking, is me a little bit. And I try not to make that a little bit too much. Breathing. I didn't even dial back the weights. Breathing exercises are going a bit quick. The speaking exercise is going a bit long. And the exercise maybe is just where it should be. It doesn't really hurt, it just feels weird. So that's not like anguish there. At least I hope it's not, but I'm pretty sure it's not. 10 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. quick breathing exercise here. And then we'll go to the other room and I will talk for a half hour about nothing important. Hopefully I won't. Chest machine is the second exercise on this thing. Last night's meal was a vegetarian Philly cheesesteak. The bread was a bit much. I probably, if I was real smart, I could have taken the bread off, but and then the cheesecake afterwards was probably not the best idea. Though, I think just that one meal, which is the only meal I had yesterday. And I'm not necessarily a big promotion of OMAD, but it's easy to schedule your life around one meal a day. OMAD, one meal a day. And the funny thing about that is I did racquetball before going grabbing food, my dad and I. So we did racquetball. Dad, hey, I'm hungry, would you for food? I'm like, yeah. And we discussed different places. There was this one place that is pretty good, and it's always interesting being the only people in a restaurant. I mean, you feel bad for the restaurant, but the attention and the editorializing on your food and your service and all that kind of stuff is pretty interesting, especially if you're talking about not necessarily trying to stay away from the obvious, trying not to mention like, hey, it's not real busy right now. But just thinking about the food and the organization, the promotions, all that kind of good stuff that's coming up for that restaurant. But man, it's like I finally figured out my go-to meal. There are these protein bars. Some protein bars I like for a little while and then it goes away. There's these orange ones I really, really liked. And then one day it just soured on me. I didn't like them anymore. Weird, I know. But currently, and I've had these months ago, and I recently bought a pack again. Kind of expensive, 5 bars, $6 or $7. Higher than I'd rather want to pay. I love the, dollar store granola, $1 for a package of 6, but one of these things has some pretty good protein and hopefully more quality ingredients. The other one is, in essence, one step away from candy and probably more processed, although they're probably both, processed to a certain extent. Unlike most people, I'm not necessarily super scared of processed things, or scared is probably not the right word. Anyway, I don't know what the right word is, but concerned, maybe. Anyway, so the perfect meal. 2 of those Power Crunch protein bars. So far I've tried 3 different flavors. The caramel, which was what I had over 6 months ago. The cookies and cream and the mint chocolate. And the cookies and cream is my favorite. But I thought the mint chocolate would be, strangely enough. Anyway, 2 of those. 2 scoops of protein shake. One of my favorite protein shakes is the Whey Sport stuff. I really like that. So 2 scoops of that, either with water or milk. Maybe it matters to somebody, but for me, I'm not dialing it that tight right now. And frozen veggies, like with the steamer bags or whatever. You can usually get those for about $1. Sometimes you can find them for 80 cents. Like green beans, mixed vegetables, which are peas, green beans, carrots, and corn. Broccoli, and not just the broccoli cuts, but the florets too, like the whole broccoli thing, the complete thing. Anyway, so one of those frozen veggie things, bag of frozen steamed veggies, and the most protein that I can find that is like fake meat is the Morningstar chicken strips. $5 gets you a whole bag. Is 102.5 grams of protein for $5. So as far as protein, although I think a lot of it's whey protein, so not whey protein, but gluten protein or something like that. So some people might want to stay away from that, but that is going to be my go-to meal, my normal standardized meal. 20 hours in, let's say last time I ate was like 8 o'clock. Actually, last night was 7 o'clock, 7:30-ish maybe, when I had the last bite. And then, so 3:30, 15:30, be ready for another go on that. And last night was a little bit more than 20 hours. Sometimes that happens, Definitely don't have time limit. And it's the funny thing, I was thinking after we worked out, I was like, I could go a little bit longer, but as soon as at the restaurant, I had the thing in front of me, so hungry. And they had like 5 different mustards on the table, but no ketchup. It was pretty interesting. A lot of the mustards were really good, and some of the hot sauce was all right. And I'm turning into a hot sauce person. Not like, oh, how hot can I go? But I'm just throwing more and more hot sauce on stuff. So enough about me. But yeah, the fun go-to meal to experiment with would be 2-scoop protein shake, 2 Power Crunch bars, a bag of frozen veggies, heated, of course, and then a bag of I think it's Morningstar brand, Morningstar chicken strips, and plenty of sauce. A lot of the carbohydrates and a lot of my extra fats comes from the sauces I use. I'm becoming a sauce connoisseur. One of the sauces I like, just because it's nothing but fat, is the Hooters wing sauce, medium. I haven't seen hot and I haven't seen mild. The only thing I see is medium that they have there. It's like a glass jar. It looks like a jar of peanut butter. Surprisingly, one of the sauces I like is I like peanut sauce, but I usually like restaurant peanut sauce is amazing. I've tried to make my own. It's different. It's good in a way, but the restaurant peanut sauces are pretty amazing. But I found one over at Whole Foods, the Whole Foods peanut sauce. $3 get you some decent, it's kind of runny, kind of liquidy, which is kind of weird because anytime I make my own peanut sauce, I use peanut butter and barbecue sauce and hot sauce. I just mix them all together. Probably is pretty gross for most people, but in the right proportions, the right ratios, I kind of like it. And then horseradish sauce, mustard definitely. But the weird thing about sauces is, yeah, it looks like it has 0 calories, but there's also 82 servings in that jar or that bottle of hot sauce. And I'm using more than 1 serving per serving. So not very accurate. Oh, and I found one thing I saw at a restaurant was green Cholula, and it's green pepper, but it's actually physically green, not just a green cap on red liquid. So finally found that at a Walmart, and I've been looking around for it at all sorts of different places. That's why I went to Whole Foods the other day. It's just to get that green Cholula. I had a stop where I was nearby, and I think I might have had to wait for something, so I was like, oh, Whole Foods right here, I'll check it out. They didn't have the green Cholula, but they did have peanut sauce. And I had $3 burning a hole in my pocket, so I was like, oh, I got sauces at home, but I want a little bit more variety. Yeah, my variety of sauces right now, just on the table, is just sauces. a couple different kinds of barbecue, a couple different horseradish sauce in a nice plastic jug that you can really squeeze out, and it's really creamy. And it seems very close to like the Arby's horseradish sauce when I used to love fries and Arby's sauce and horseradish on curly fries, which I haven't done in a long time, and hopefully it'll be a long time before I do that again. Let's see here. Yeah, the sauces. Oh my goodness. Green pepper, green Cholula, which is a hot sauce. I think I got some sort of Louisiana hot sauce that I fell in love with for a little bit and fell out of favor with. I know, so fickle. Couple standard barbecue sauces, a bunch of different mustard, some weird stone ground stuff and now I have like actual pepper things. Pepper, obviously. I don't like putting salt on stuff. Never really wanted salt, but pepper I'll go a little far with pepper sometimes. And I have this other stuff that was like a broken container type, half off. It was some Kentucky, I don't remember, barbecue seasoning type stuff, powder, chili powder, and also like in the restaurants where you have like pizzeria restaurants where they have like the powdered cheese and the I guess the powdered Parmesan and like the little hot peppers thing. I got one of those little hot peppers things, not the restaurant one. I didn't take it from a restaurant, but it's actual in a consumer can. In other words, there's a lot of aspects of my life that I love. I love the fact that my standard meal makes me happy, it's healthy, and I can go crazy with the sauces and powders and potions and the weird stuff with electrolytes that I'm mixing with water and drinking and stuff. So, yeah, in other words, I like Propel powder plus, something called Diet Twist Up. Diet Twist is 87 cents for a 2-liter bottle, and you mix it with Propel powder, and it is an experience that is, for me, tasty. For other people, it's just like, I don't like diet stuff or whatever. And as far as I know, it's pretty close to 0 calories, so that's fun. All right, there's the editorializing. I feel guilty about talking so long about stuff that makes me happy when I should be feeling happy just doing this. We'll get rid of the should, and we will put the will in there. And do and done and all that kind of fun. All right, this is me saying straighten up. It's been a long time of me talking. Do the exercises. All right. Pretty sure I did a breathing exercise, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. 1, already dialed in the weight. 2, set of 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe the thinking about food charged me up a little bit. I hope not. Hopefully I was just that charged naturally. A little bit of a breathing exercise. Set of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Next exercise after a breathing exercise, that should stay the same. That's a little heavier than I expected too. Only 7, 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Note to self, I might want to dial that a little bit down next time. Set 10, dial it down a little bit. Gonna breathe. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh, doing it slow feels weird. Go real slow on this one. 10. All right. That's the third exercise. We're on to the fourth. Breath exercise inside. Yeah, it's a workout with 5 exercises. That takes an hour sometimes. My laziness knows no bounds. But I get to fit in my breathing exercises in my workout, and hopefully they, while not being codependent, there's a bit of, synergy, where each of the parts increases the other one. The sum is not the total of the parts, but greater than. Anyhow, so hammer curls are next. Gonna dial it in. Nice. I like it when I can just dial it in and then double check the number and it's where I want it to be. That's a good feeling. Doing a little bit more exercise with my eyes closed. Although that last exercise, I didn't actively try to close my eyes. It's always a fun joke. Not that people mention the pineal gland too much, but if you switch out the pineal gland for the perineum, which pineal gland is something in the head. It does different things as far as, I think, does it monitor hormones? I'm not exactly sure. Growth hormones, I think. And then the perineum, as far as I know, is the spot between the anus and the genitals. So the pineal gland versus the perineum. It's a fun thing to switch around. if someone's talking about either one of them. I don't know. I got my friend a good laugh when it was a very serious conversation. I was tempted not to do the joke because the conversation was so serious, but I did the switcheroo, and he got it right away. I mean, he's a pretty sharp tack, and the laugh he got was probably one of the best laughs I've ever had out of him. So I think I did my goodness. Could have went south, but certain people, you gotta be willing to say the joke and be willing to let it go south. And no, it got him out of his funk for a minute or two and got him into a good laughing situation for a minute or two. Anyway, hammer curls. I am talking a lot. Wow. These are my words. Please, note to myself, don't take them too seriously. Definitely going to close my eyes on this one. Set of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A little bit of breathing, and a set of 10. Two, 3, 4, 7, 9, 10. Okay, that went smooth. Nice and smooth. One breathing exercise before this exercise, then afterwards. It's pretty much just a small break in between every set. First set 15, then 4 sets of 5. Usually functions if I put my feet kind of right next to each other. That seems like a good way to do it. 2, 3, 4. 11, 13, 14, 15. Nice break. 1, 5. That was a solid break. 2. 3. The fourth set of 5 is coming up. 4. Okay, that might have been a little bit fast. It's a good thing these weights don't have to travel far. Oh, goodness me. What will become of me? Goodness, oh. Whoa. Relax for a half second. We're done. I got really nothing more on my mind. Although none of that stuff was scripted. It wasn't really on my mind. It was just whatever came out of my mind. So, but if you got all the way through this, I really, really admire you. I don't even know if I'll get through all the way through this video. All right, later it shall be.